because I've been over here working on a couple of projects that I got to get done. And I'm not going to be here that long. uh, I wanted to come and talk about something real quick. And what I wanted to talk about is why I have never slept around, nor would I ever sleep around. I have literally only had 7 sexual partners in my life, and that is the truth. And I think that sometimes men, because it's different for men, but you know what? I really don't think that it should be, but it kind of is different for men. But I do think that men's bodies work very similar to women. So, but I think that the structures and the nerve endings in the sexual organs of man and woman can be different because, of course, men are what women are XX chromosomes and men are XY. I think that's how it works. Yeah. So, I think that it is a difference as far as the way that our bodies work. But, you know, I'm going to tell y'all why I never slept around and why I never will. Now, first of all, my significant other that I am with, he is the last man standing. He is the only one. I wish that I would have met him 20 years ago. Man, y'all know how that feels when you get up in age and you meet somebody and you like, why didn't we meet 20 years ago too? Like, but that's okay though, because you're very blessed to have met that person when you did. Okay, that's all that matters, right? You know, that those are feelings of regret that you kind of want to stay away from that, and don't let it interfere with your happiness. Now, whenever I come and I talk about sex, it disturbs people because, again, everybody looks at sex differently. Everybody. People pretty much everybody has heard my stance when it comes to sex and sexual relations, but y'all probably ain't never heard this before. This will be a first time that y'all ever heard me talk about this. But what I wanted to talk about is why I have never slept around and why I hate. And you know what? I don't know. I don't see how that's a good thing for anybody. Um, but whatever. Reason why I've never slept around though, y'all, is because I've always enjoyed sex. I know, ain't that weird? That's like one of those good oxymorons, isn't it? When you don't do something because you enjoy it. And I have been here before. This is not my first go. Okay, I feel like my body, chronologically, since I was born, is the age that she is, but I feel like my soul is very old. And I'm glad that I had this intuition since I was a youngin'. Because a lot of people feel like, and you know what, it's kind of hard for me to fit in with people when it comes to sex. Sometimes, like I have a few really good friends that kind of have the same stance on it, but it's just something that you just don't talk about. I mean, I personally, at the age that I am, I don't want to talk about sex with nobody except for my significant other. I think it's ridiculous. I cannot stand that. I do not like even talking about sex with people. I think people are too raunchy. It's kind of like psychic attack energy. I don't like it. And just like there's a lot of people that have bad relationships with money, there are a lot of people that have bad relationships with sex. I enjoy sex way too much. And when you are a woman, your vagina has something called nerve endings in it, right? It has something called nerve endings, and you want to be careful sleeping with too many different men because you can ruin the nerve endings in the body. Okay? You can ruin the feel of sex if you're having sex with too many different men. There's too many different men. I don't necessarily, for one, agree that women's bodies are made to take on multiple men like that. I just don't think our bodies are made for that. But then again, maybe I'm speaking from my DNA level. For example, my mother, literally, I think she only had like maybe two or three sexual partners that I can count, my father included. So maybe it's a DNA thing, you know? But I can tell you that when you have sex with too many men, too many different men, it destroys the nerve endings of the vagina to the point where it kind of numbs it. You don't enjoy it as much. You don't enjoy it. Doesn't feel as good. And I love sex. If I could literally like, which I can and I will, I don't, the world and people that are perverted, the perverted world that we live in really pisses me off. I wish I could jump in my time machine and go back in time for real when times were not this way, because sex was not always seen as some kind of fucking currency. I hate that shit. I really do. Yeah, I want my man to take care of me. If I need him for something, yeah, but it's not a currency exchange type of situation. Because honestly, if I didn't enjoy having sex with men, I wouldn't be bothered with them at all. And trust me, most men I don't get down with. A lot of men can, oh, too obnoxious. Too obnoxious for me. Males can be extremely obnoxious. I've never been the type of person that just loved to be around a bunch of different men. You're welcome, yes, yes, wise millennial. You're welcome. Yeah. And I just I don't know, maybe it was a part of my intuition, it possibly could have been just a part of my intuition to kind of save it for the right person. And technically I did, even though I think that my quote unquote, how they say body count, I think that my body count is too much, but compared to other folks, I mean, I'm doing pretty good, okay? But yeah, it wouldn't be worth it if it doesn't feel good. If the vagina is dead, if it's the nerve endings in your vagina just goes out. I think that that is the result of having way too many partners. And I think if you have long-term sex with the same person, I don't believe that that happens because Sex is meant to deepen. I think, the sexual connection that you have with a person, the bond that you have with a person, it's meant to deepen. It's not meant to go out like that. If it does, there's an inherent problem. You know what I mean? So, honestly, it to me it's very rewarding. you know, um that I have not done that because, when I'm with my significant other, I can feel the universe in my vagina. Like that's literally, and that was meant to be between me and him. And I probably shouldn't even be sharing this because there are a lot of people that, again, they look at say, oh, that's what it is, a conquest. That's what it is, a conquest. Or, some kind of medicine. You know what I mean? It's medicine, which sex can be very healing, but it's not the same if you're not having sex with somebody that you love. It's just not the same. It isn't. It isn't. I can tell you that. I can promise you that. After all my years of living, all right, got done with that project. After all my years of living, I can promise you that. You say you're the first person that got my name right. Oh, cool. So yeah, that's my reasoning is because I actually really enjoy like I like having sex. I just don't like having sex with multiple people. That's not exciting to me. I don't understand what that's about. I've never understood that as to why people do that. That's people's personal business. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I personally do not like that, and that's why I've never done it. So I have not had I have not had very many, but I feel like I've had too many, you know. Uh 6 or 7 to me is too much. But, like I said, compared to other people's body counts, I think I did pretty good. Okay. So I'm happy, proud of myself, and I enjoy sex. And you know what? I think subtlety when it comes to sex is very sexy. Y'all know that, I have a special relationship with my significant other. I can sit and talk to him about sex, but just sex as public conversation, it's it's a little uncomfortable for me. Okay. But even behind the scenes, privately, I wouldn't want the sexual conversation to be too dirty, you know? And it just feels good finding somebody, well, finally not finding somebody, but finally being in union with someone that is for you. That feels good. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people, for various reasons, are probably never going to experience that. And I feel sorry for those people. I really do. I feel really bad for those people because, it's, sex is one of the most gratifying and healing things, and it's very cosmic. It's what connects us to the cosmos and God, and it's elevating, and it's wonderful. And the fact that I just, I would always look at other people sleeping around, and I would think to myself, I don't want to ruin my vagina. It ain't about, and see, everybody always think that it's about the vagina being tight enough. The you're and that's another thing. No, 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 no. But the vagina being tight enough ain't just what it's about. It's about, so people will go and they'll have like vaginal rejuvenation surgeries and stuff to tighten it up. It ain't even about that. It's about the nerve endings. You probably want, I mean, I'm a healer, right? If a woman came to me and said, Jamila, I'm just not feeling, like that I can heal anything. If you have that issue, like if you lost the feeling down there or whatever, and you can't orgasm and sex is painful for you, I definitely could heal that. I wouldn't have to touch you. It don't have to be nothing freaky. It would just be a healing working that I would do. But if you don't have no feeling down there, then you're not going to enjoy sex. You're not, if you don't have any feeling down there. And that's what sleeping around does. It takes away the feeling from your vagina. And so that's why you see people making jokes about people, sticking all kind of stuff up in there and trying to get a feeling and all of that stuff. And you shouldn't have to do all of that stuff. My personal opinion is that sleeping around it's throwing your body off, but then again also you have to be careful about who it is that you're sleeping with and what they could potentially be taking from you is another concern of mine. So, and even before I began practicing, even before I got more spiritual, you know, even before that, I felt that way. I felt like something was just not right with that situation, and I know that that's exactly what it is. And it's really sad that I think it's really sad that many of us I don't. you know, my I can only theorize. Okay, my theory on it is the reason why that because the amount of sexual harassment and people saying sexual things and people constantly talking about people sexually and what I personally think that all of that is coming from incubuses and succubuses. That's the only thing that I can think of that would explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like people that do that. You know what I'm saying? And especially people that want to come across as, oh, I'm very sexual and you know, but if I'm feeling sexual at all, I'm gonna be thinking about me. When I'm in a sexual mood, I'm doing something else. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about something else. I definitely wouldn't be thinking about other people except for my man. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I am, and I ain't changing. It's a I just turned 49 years old. Technically, I'm 49 going on 26. Okay, so technically I turned 26. And I just don't see any reason for me to do that. For what? And I think people get upset when they know that you're not loose like that. I think they get upset. I don't know why that's a I don't know why that's a sore spot for people. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why that's a sore spot for people. I've seen people that are like that too. They get upset about it. No, slut. What you mean you ain't no skank? What you mean? I'ma make you one anyway. Well, it's not what's really physically happening in reality. And if a damn sure ain't happening spiritually, by the way, guys, I was supposed to be doing a show on spiritual rape. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but not right now. We're gonna talk about that later. Okay? I'm out here smoking a cigarette real quick. We'll talk about that later, you guys. We will. We will talk about that later. I had the show set up and I kind of got really busy and haven't done it, but I think that it's appropriate for us to go ahead and talk about spiritual rape. Okay? So I'll be here probably later on today or tomorrow. Today's a very busy day for me, so I already know. So anyway, yeah, man. Mm-hmm. And I ain't never allowed myself to be peer pressured into doing no shit either. Because trust me, I've had people try to peer pressure me into shit. I'm like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Never. All right, y'all. That's pretty much it. Y'all have a blessed Thursday. Bye.